Tonight, Alberta health officials speak publicly a week after children began getting sick from E. coli.
This doesn't happen by accident. There's a series of mistakes and errors for this stuff to get into our food supply.
The health violations found at a kitchen shared by daycares. Libya's humanitarian catastrophe, 10,000 said to be missing, maybe more.
They lost everything. Of course, some of them unfortunately lost their family, relatives, and friends.
Health Canada approves a new COVID vaccine.
It's very important that they consider the new shot as a really significant upgrade to what they've had before.
Time to break down what you need to know.
This is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
There has been another jump in the number of E. coli cases tied to multiple daycares in Calgary, and we're now learning staggering new details about the potential source. Alberta officials say several critical health violations have been discovered at the kitchen tied to the outbreak. It supplied food for the dozens of kids who've since been hospitalized and the hundreds who've fallen ill. As Aaron Collins shows us, these new revelations are driving concern about how this could have happened and how it's being handled.
A full week into a massive E. coli outbreak, Alberta's top health officials finally spoke.
We didn't feel that there was urgency to do that up until this point.
But for days, parents have been asking how dozens of kids have wound up in hospital.
We have not found the source of the infection. We continue to work on that, and we are optimistic that by the time the investigation is complete, we will have a much better sense for exactly what happened.
The health minister offering her support to parents, but for now, little else.
These are very complex investigations conducted by people that have experience. There are numerous tests that are involved.
The outbreak has been linked to this daycare chain, a kitchen that makes food for them, the likely source. Health inspectors found several major problems with the facility, including food not being handled in a manner that makes it safe to eat, and significant evidence of a pest infestation, including live cockroaches. For families with kids that got sick, worrying revelations.
There's been so many other times when our kids were sent home and, they had diarrhea or whatever. And we were like, okay, we were told, oh, this is just normal. This is toddlers. It's called toddler diarrhea. And I'm thinking now, knowing all of this, were they eating this disgusting stuff that was actually making our kids sick this whole time?
264 cases of E. coli have now been linked to the outbreak. 25 people are still in hospital. This doctor has broader worries. This outbreak a sign of an eroding public health system that's cutting corners.
This doesn't happen by accident. There's a series of mistakes and errors for this stuff to get into our food supply. And if we don't sort it out in a transparent manner, it's going to happen again. And this can kill you.
Health officials insist they will get to the bottom of the outbreak and prevent future ones. The clock is ticking on both of those commitments.
So, Aaron, given that the 7 daycares with the confirmed outbreaks are beginning to reopen, what are parents saying?
They're in a bit of a bind, right? I mean, obviously there's some concern, some worry about sending your kids back to a facility that's connected to an outbreak like this. But at the same time, I mean, daycare spots are really hard to come by around here. We're hearing stories about 2-year-long wait lists. So take that family that we talked to in our story there. You got a mom and a dad, both of them work, right? So they need daycare. And Adrian, as much as they're looking around for options, well, they might just send their 2 boys right back to the same place where they got sick.
Incredible. All right, Aaron Collins in Calgary, thank you. In BC, the Premier is up in arms that a psychiatric hospital granted a man day release despite his violent history. Now he's the suspect in a triple stabbing that occurred soon after he left on that day pass. Michelle Gassoub now on the demand for answers.
3 people stabbed at random in Vancouver's Chinatown.
I am so angry. I am white-hot angry that this person was released unaccompanied into the community to have a devastating impact.
This is where 64-year-old Blair Donnelly is accused of attacking a young woman and a married couple on Sunday.
It defies any logical explanation.
In 2008, Donnelly was found not criminally responsible for killing his 16-year-old daughter Stephanie because of a mental disorder. The following year, when allowed back into the community, he stabbed a friend. On Sunday, Donnelly was out on another day pass from a Lower Mainland psychiatric hospital.
I'm sure it boggles the mind of all British Columbians, as it does me, that a series of decisions could have been taken that landed us in this place.
Documents from the BC Review Board reveal Donnelly's last hearing was in April of this year. It was decided he may have escorted and unescorted access to the community depending on his mental condition. A statement from Blaine Bray, the Executive Director of Forensic Psychiatric Services, says when making those decisions, the treatment team considers a variety of factors, including the patient's progress and mental status, and a review process is followed. EB has now promised a review into how decisions were made in this case and whether there are other potentially dangerous offenders that may be out on day passes. Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.
An Ontario jury got a first-hand account of the arrest of the man accused of killing 4 members of a Muslim family 2 years ago. The jury were shown video of the moment and heard the 911 call that led police to the scene. Tonight, Thomas Dagla is able to bring us what they saw and heard.
Just minutes after that black pickup was used as a weapon, the truck is seen approaching a taxi driver in a London, Ontario parking lot. Outside this shopping mall is where the alleged terrorist is arrested, seemingly eager to confess to the attack that killed 4 members of the Afzal family. In this newly released security video shown to the trial jury, the taxi driver can be seen speaking to the man in the truck, who apparently demanded, "Call the cops for me, call the police." The taxi driver told the court Nathaniel Veltman admitted, "I just hit someone, I killed someone." The accused repeated his confession on the 911 call.
He's me that did it. Come arrest me.
Okay, what's the plate on the truck? Can you ask him his name?
I don't know, but it was me that crashed into them. Get over in the car.
Okay, what's your name?
Dave Veltman.
The taxi driver recounted how the accused put his hands up and just waited for police to move in. The jury heard Veltman even asked the man to record video of the arrest. When officers arrived, the Crown alleges Veltman was wearing a helmet and body armor. Charged with murder and terrorism, he's accused of supporting white nationalism and targeting Muslims, allegedly inspired by right-wing extremists in New Zealand and Norway. Prosecutors say Veltman wanted to spur others to carry out more attacks.
Some of these others that came before are not very quiet at all, and they're not shy at all about what their motivations are.
The court has also been shown video of that truck mounting the curb and speeding toward the Afzal family. Veltman's terrorism charges mean the Crown must prove his motivation. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
We're getting a clearer picture tonight of the extent of deadly flooding in Libya, where the numbers paint a horrific image. More than 5,000 people are dead, and at least 10,000 more are said to be missing. This after a powerful storm swept through the country's northeast this weekend. The rain so strong, it broke 2 dams, sending a huge wave of water crashing down on the coastal city of Derna. Paul Hunter shows us what is left in the wake of the catastrophe, and a warning: some of the images are disturbing.
In the Libyan city of Derna, the place hit hardest by the catastrophic flooding, utter devastation. Say witnesses, during the torrential rain late Sunday came a crackling boom as 2 dams in the nearby countryside collapsed. That sent, in effect, a tsunami of water that tore through Derna, sweeping away entire neighborhoods. In the city of some 100,000, say some roughly a quarter of it has been left in ruin. These are among the dead, now left all but abandoned on sidewalks and roadways. Thousands more are believed buried in the silt and rubble, or just as likely, simply washed out to sea. Outside the city, the mass graves have begun. It is a horror show. These are victims of the storm, he says. We need help. A challenge for international aid agencies is that the country remains politically divided, with rival governments complicating rescue work. Aid workers tell CBC News their priorities are many and urgent.
Shelter is the first one. We're talking about the thousands of people that don't have a place where to stay. And then all the basic needs, where they lost everything. Of course, some of them unfortunately lost their family, relatives, and friends, but all of them, they lost house, they lost livelihoods, they lost jobs.
This video showing where one of the dams used to be underlines the sheer volume of water that broke through. Many already suggest years of neglect in Libya toward its infrastructure, including the dams, may well have led to the collapse and to the misery that has now only barely begun. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Turning to another North African country reeling from disaster in Morocco, the number of dead from Friday's earthquake now stands at more than 2,900 people. Thousands more are injured. Chris Brown has been covering the impact for days, and tonight shows us the raw emotional toll.
In Morocco, it's not just buildings that lie in ruins. This is a temporary military hospital in the heart of the earthquake zone, where Abdelhadi Ait Bozned brought his wife. We are in shock, and my wife couldn't handle it. She had a nervous breakdown, he told us. Her good friend and neighbor tried to give her some comfort. We saw our children dirty and suffering, she said. People brought us food, thank God, but our houses are gone. Their families and another 15 people in total are now living together in a single tent because there's no other option. Elsewhere at the hospital, Ibrahim Ogzim suffered physical wounds when a rock wall fell on him. His arm will heal, he told us, but the mental scars will last. We're destroyed psychologically by what's happened, he said. This hospital was set up to deal with urgent needs, but the earthquake has created a long-term crisis, and many here say they have no idea what they're going to do next. Villages of tents have replaced permanent homes. Here, there are supplies of food and water, and for the kids, even some fun. But there are still many thousands in isolated villages who have no help, said 18-year-old Zachariah Imziln. In our village, most people didn't get any assistance. 3 days we were sleeping outside without tents, just blankets, he said. Controversially, Morocco hasn't accepted offers of help from many countries, including Canada, fearing it could be too chaotic. And many Moroccans have learned to stay quiet rather than question it. When we asked Ibrahim El Marhouli about the situation, he praised the country's king. I'm happy with our king. He's doing everything right, he said. King Mohammed VI finally visited the wounded at a Marrakesh hospital and gave blood. But international aid agencies are worried, and the Red Cross is appealing for money to avoid what it fears could be a second humanitarian disaster here. Chris Brown, CBC News in Azni, Morocco.
Israel's Supreme Court has begun hearing an appeal against a controversial new law that limits that court's own power. The legislation takes away the court's ability to block government actions it deems unreasonable. Since it was introduced, massive protests have taken place across the country, participants fearing it will weaken the country's democracy. Inside the court, all 15 of Israel's Supreme Court justices are hearing the appeal, the first time that has ever happened. Their deadline to come to a decision is this January. And Conservative MP Michael Chong testified today before U.S. lawmakers about China's alleged interference in Canada.
Foreign interference is a serious national security threat. Canada must work toward a stronger defense and security partnership with the United States and allies.
Chong explained how he was targeted by China and suggested how allies could counter that threat. China allegedly began targeting Chong and his family in 2021 after he called out Beijing's treatment of its Uyghur minority population. The Canadian public inquiry into foreign interference will officially begin next week. And U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says his Republican majority is opening an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. He says Republicans found a culture of corruption around Biden's family.
This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public.
Republicans assert that as vice president, Biden used his office to profit from his son's foreign business ventures. The White House says there's no basis for an investigation. Health Canada has approved a new COVID-19 vaccine. The monovalent from Moderna targets a newer subvariant of the Omicron strain. Christine Birak shows us what it does and who should pay special attention.
With the latest COVID-19 shot now approved, this is the advice from Health Canada.
Individuals who are 5 years of age and older should receive 1 dose of the vaccine, regardless of their COVID-19 vaccination history.
The Moderna vaccine, along with 2 others still under review, including Pfizer, no longer include the original strain of the virus. Instead, they specifically target a current version of the Omicron variant that's expected to circulate this fall and winter.
In the last few weeks, we have started to see an increase in COVID-19 indicators across many areas of the country, including hospitalizations.
The most recent data show COVID-19 killing 48 Canadians in a week. And while far from the peak last year, there are still about 2,165 Canadians lying in hospital beds with the virus, an uptick from the previous week.
I see these patients, and essentially they're people who are coming in with their COVID, which has triggered off an underlying problem that they had.
Health officials insist people at highest risk of severe disease include adults over 65, long-term care home residents, and those with underlying medical conditions.
In that group of people with underlying conditions, those underlying conditions are principally people with active cancer who are being treated, people who are transplant recipients, and people who are under very active treatment for serious conditions.
The first doses of the new Moderna vaccine will start arriving this week and be widely rolled out by provinces and territories in October. With respiratory virus season fast approaching and hospitals still under pressure, doctors are hoping Canadians will roll up their sleeves for a flu and COVID vaccine at the same time. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
So when should you be getting your next shot? And do your previous vaccines give you any protection now? Infectious diseases doctor Lenore Saxinger is standing by to answer your questions and more. That's coming up. Plus, all charged up over Apple's latest launch.
I don't think Apple really had a choice in the matter.
The big change it was forced to make. And later, what some UK farmers pulled from the ground.
Couldn't believe what had happened.
The bull, the sinkhole, and the dramatic rescue. We're back at 2. Well, there's a mess. A major highway in Montreal was covered in white paint Tuesday morning after a spill from a transport truck. And of course, when cars drove through it and the tires spread it, lane dividers became impossible to see. Naturally, traffic chaos followed. The cleanup took some 6 hours. And speaking of paint, this is a Dutch art detective with something incredible stashed in an Ikea bag, an early painting by Van Gogh that was stolen back in 2020.
It's back. It took 1,300 days, but here it is.
So the thief broke into a museum where the work had been on loan. He was caught and a year later sentenced to 8 years. By then, the painting had changed hands. The detective says a man offered to surrender the treasure so long as he could remain anonymous. Across the country, tenants are seeing their rents skyrocket, and a new report puts some hard numbers to that difficult reality. Yvette Brand looks at the scramble for an affordable place to live.
At $1,850 a month, a one-bedroom apartment closer to the beach and free of roommates seemed like a steal.
I was like, okay, let's go. When we went there, I saw a lot of people outside already waiting. At first, I didn't understand. I was like, why are there so many people, right? And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God, all these people are here to see the place, just like us.
He's still hunting for a new home.
Not good, because then it becomes like Hunger Games, you know, like we're fighting to get the place.
Since 2019, the average rent in Canada has gone up and down, but rose by nearly 10% last year. And in the last 3 months, rent increased by an average of more than $100 per month.
I can't believe that. That's insane. I already pay so much money for rent. It's already like half my paycheck. Like, that's just ridiculous.
That's terrible, but they put more people on the street.
Yeah.
Seriously, they're going to put more people on the street. There's enough homelessness already. Yeah, people going to food banks and people going homeless. That's terrible.
provinces are trying to balance rent control with concerns about inflation.
It's renters actually that are harmed the most. And we're seeing that now where there's such a chronic shortage of rental housing. And we have hundreds of thousands of people moving into the lower mainland in particular, most of whom are renters. So we need bigger solutions here.
It's a similar situation across the country, and housing analysts say there's no quick fix.
My advice to tenants is don't move.
He says Canada needs to get better at both gauging rental demands and encouraging developers to build affordable housing.
It's much more beneficial for a developer to build condos than it is to build rental.
So the shortage remains.
While we were waiting, more and more people start to come. Everybody was kind of like giggling, you know, smiling, because everybody was in kind of like shock.
Leaving renters lining up to pay record high rent. Yvette Brand, CBC News, Vancouver.
Apple unveiled the next generation of some of its most popular gadgets today, but it isn't just fancy new cameras getting all the attention.
It's not feasible for them to have, a different hardware standard based on different sort of regions of the globe.
Why it's changing how devices are charged after years of pressure. Plus, drag performers are the target of growing protest.
It's just a rehashing of what the gay community used to face 20 years ago.
The fear of real violence. And later, a new COVID shot is here.
Preliminary clinical data have shown promising immune responses.
Who should get it and when? We have some expert advice. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. An antitrust trial against Google has begun in Washington. At issue that the company pays billions of dollars each year to ensure it's the default search engine on almost all devices. The U.S. Justice Department argues those actions gave it an unfair competitive advantage. Google denies any wrongdoing. A decision is expected early next year. And Apple has caved to an order by the European Union, finally updating its phone charger to fall in line with new regulations. And that change will also take effect in Canada. Anis Haydari now on how it could affect you.
So we're bringing USB-C to iPhone 15.
Apple's new iPhone has a new bottom. It's getting a more versatile port, one used by other Apple devices and almost all of the competition. So the older Lightning port may end up obsolete.
You're going to have to buy a couple extra cables.
Tech experts say the upside is one cable to rule them all.
I do think there will be a lot of people out there that might be a little frustrated when they go pick up their new iPhone, come home, realize all those cables that they've amassed over the last couple of years, they're not going to work anymore.
This type of change isn't new. Apple has swapped cables many times before, and not just for phones. But this time, it wasn't exactly the company's choice. The European Union passed a law forcing this move, something Apple had resisted until now.
I don't think Apple really had a choice in the matter, actually, in terms of whether to adopt it or not. It's not feasible for them to have, a different hardware standard based on different sort of regions of the globe.
Sharing chargers with other devices like laptops could cut down on electronic waste, but experts say that could take years.
I don't think that necessarily this change will have like an immediate direct line effect on sort of e-waste or environmental outcomes. But I think it's part of a broader shift, like a sea change, where we see, a real interest and investment in extending the useful life of the things that we own.
Extending the life of new tech by eliminating the old, eventually. Anis Haydari, CBC News, Calgary.
This is the moment in the show when we break down the news shaping our world. We've lined up an expert to tackle your questions on the new COVID vaccine. But first, the backlash escalates against drag story time.
Stay away from our gates!
Performers say they're under siege.
I've never felt like that before.
Every one of us can persevere.
But they refuse to back down. So here's Anya Zolojowski to break down what's driving that backlash, according to protesters and performers.
Are you ready for Fan Fluffy story time?
Hi, everyone. All are welcome here.
It's supposed to be the simplest of things, silly even.
If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, do all three.
Funny stories, singing, dancing.
Wow.
But the mood shifts.
A dozen protesters who've steadily been trickling in. They have signs that say there are only two genders, that drag sexualizes children. And that's something that's been happening a lot in the last year because storytime events just like this one have increasingly become targets of hate.
Oh.
It's a public space, so this is a legal protest, and the message is clear. They do not want people like Faye and Fluffy reading to kids.
Thank you. It's been so beautiful. It's been so nice here.
Stay away from our kids! Stay away from our kids!
Nothing like this has ever happened to them.
Keep out! Keep out! Keep out! Keep out!
That's probably the most.
That was gross.
That's the most aggressive that I think we've ever witnessed.
I've never felt like that before.
The next day, I meet with Faye and Fluffy, aka JP Kane and Caleb Robertson, to ask about this growing hostility.
I think that if they want to come and hold out their signs, we can't stop that. We don't need to stop that. But don't stop us from doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
It's so uneducated about what things are, about drag queen story time. They can point to that and even just simply be like, well, ew, gross, those men want to be women. Does Faye look like she is trying to be a woman? No, these are our characters.
Even though both of us were having a huge wave of different kinds of emotions, we remain focused in delivering what it is that we do, which is celebrating differences and uniqueness and a joy of literacy and being silly and fun.
Stoked by far-right groups online, some people are fundamentally opposed to drag, coinciding with a rise in police-reported anti-LGBTQ hate crimes.
Ready, Butch?
I'm ready. Because I got this.
Yeah. Every one of us can be resilient. Every one of us can persevere.
At the Peterborough Library, Betty Baker is singing about resilience.
Here's the chorus. You've got this. You've got this. Keep going. Keep going.
But outside, protesters and supporters have been showing up since she started last year. I asked Betty, whose real name is Isaac Maker, what's fueling all of this?
And so a lot of those are kind of tied into the idea that educating kids about queerness is inherently grooming them and going to turn them gay and trans, which is their worst fear. More than the protests, the threats have been wild. We had to cancel a story time back in December at Lavender and Play.
So what's it like to see these threats and protests at your kids' events?
Oh, it breaks my heart. Oh. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional.
Okay. Have your moment.
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I know that what my kid is doing is about joy, and it's about being that role model for people. I know that it comes from a good place.
Posts like this one, beating Dorothy within an inch of her life, have scared Isaac and Mom Michelle.
There have been quotes about complete misinformation about trans people, complete misinformation about gay people. And while it may be peaceful outside the library, that is hateful rhetoric.
This is Pastor Ben Inglis. He organized Peterborough's first protest.
They are communicating the acceptability and normativeness of the trans lifestyle.
Protests here have attracted all sorts, including people from the self-described Freedom Convoy and this well-known white nationalist.
But why block or get in the way of people who have a different faith from going?
If you saw a child a 3-year-old child attempting to cross a 4-lane highway, would you say, oh, that's not my child, therefore I have no obligation to say anything?
How do you respond to families who are concerned that such protests are encouraging violence, targeting LGBTQ+ people and their families?
There's lots of things that pass for hate crimes right now, where I would call that freedom of speech.
What is the end game?
I would love to see drag story hours dry up and be erased from public memory. These are symptoms of a society in decay. You don't treat a disease by dealing with the symptoms. And the only hope for our nation is repentance.
To be clear, trans people and drag performers are not a disease, and Ben Inglis only represents one local movement. That's why we met Timothy Caulfield at the University of Alberta.
It's the same community that was anti-vax, anti-COVID protocols.
He studies some of the other groups linked to these protests.
It's a community that is largely, I want to be careful not to overgeneralize, but it's a community that seems to be fueled by misinformation, by rage.
He says there's overlap between the anti-vax movement and anti-LGBTQ hate.
Because if you disagree with them or tell them they're wrong or say that this is misinformation or this is about hate, they immediately retreat to, well, you don't want to protect our children? And unfortunately, that strategy can be very effective.
We are now calling the police.
Last February, this man stormed into a story time at a Calgary library.
As a parent of kids in here, you need to get out.
Today is the first story hour since then, featuring Ida Cupcake and King Neptune. Mary Capusta is with the library.
I would clarify that we would not consider that a protest. That was a level of disruption and honestly some scary activity that happened inside of our spaces, creating, I'll be honest, a level of fear and intimidation in that space.
Calgary introduced a safety bylaw inspired by anti-drag hate. Protesters must be 100 meters away from the entrance. On this morning, half a dozen have gathered.
Some gender confusion.
Shane Robbins says he's part of the Basic Freedom movement.
So this event has been happening for 5 years, and I'm wondering why now? Why are you protesting it now?
Because it's come to our attention, because they're really pushing it now in the wake of the COVID narrative. This is a demonstration of how gender fluidity theory is the official state religion of Canada. Justin Trudeau, its high priest.
Using unconstitutional bylaws to keep us at bay.
2 men from that corner come inside, but police make it clear they cannot cause a disturbance. King Neptune doesn't expect to change anyone's mind.
For myself, not only am I a drag performer, but I'm also transgender, and so I walk through the world knowing that there's people around there that think that my very existence is inappropriate. For me, the relation of calling it grooming or using these slurs against us is just a rehashing of what the gay community used to face 20 years ago.
I started doing drag when I was 15, and that was a fantastic experience for me. It gave me so much confidence. It gave me so much love for myself.
Isaac, remember Betty Baker, says the protests are not really about drag at all.
When I was 15 or 16, they would have been like, oh, Betty's being groomed by her family. But as soon as I'm 19 and I'm doing story times, it's like, you're a bad person. You're a groomer. And that switch is just so wild. And it really, they don't want people to be queer no matter what. And that's the bottom line of it.
Faye and Fluffy, JP and Caleb, know who their audience is.
We love doing this, and this is meant for communities who are accepting, and people who are accepting, and people who really love their kids.
So Faye and Fluffy are sticking around.
So Anya, in the middle of the stalemate, right, are kids. And I'm curious, what's your sense of how they fared?
Yeah, in Mississauga, the library said it was a great success, and kids were laughing, engaging, having a good time. So were the parents, and they told us that.
So I know you've been covering this issue both in the United States and here in Canada, and I'm curious what strikes you about the experience here.
Yeah, the tactics are strikingly similar between Canada and the US. Protesters film the event, they surround the event, they have the same banners, the same matching t-shirts. You know, the rhetoric is the same. And ultimately in the US, anti-LGBTQ sentiment has really come out in a big way politically. We're seeing rumblings of that in Canada. We saw in Peterborough, a People's Party of Canada candidate had co-organized a protest with Ben Inglis. We also see this playing out in schools. And just this past weekend at the Conservative Party convention, trans issues were on the docket.
All right, Annie Zolojowski, thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Canada has approved a new COVID shot aimed at protecting against an ever-changing virus.
We have started to see an increase in COVID-19 indicators across many areas of the country, including hospitalizations.
Dr. Lenore Saxinger is here next answering your questions. New and approved a vaccine against the dominant strain of COVID.
I've been waiting for more. I'd say top me up.
But many Canadians are tired of keeping track, or they've heard they don't need a shot.
We encourage people to consider their sources of information very carefully.
And that is where we come in. So we've invited a prominent infectious diseases specialist to help you navigate your choice. Dr. Lenore Saxinger, so good to have you right here in studio. You know, we haven't spoken about this in a while. I get the sense that there are still people who say, even though we don't talk about it a lot, I'm tired of the COVID conversation. Some people have put it in the rearview mirror already. What do you say to them about the importance of tuning in at this moment?
I think that right now is a really important time for people to tune in, and I know a lot of people kind of probably checked out after their second vaccine dose, honestly. But for those individuals, I think it's very important that they consider the new shot as a really significant upgrade to what they've had before. The virus has actually changed over time enough that the protection from prior shots and even early infection are much less than it was before. And so if you want to be protected from infection this fall, it would be very important for people to get the XBB boosters.
We've been asking questions of our viewers. Send us your thoughts. We got one from a man named Bob Younger who said, I don't see a need for the shot. Makes sense if you're going to be in a hospital or an old folks home on a regular basis though. Can you help us and him navigate this? What would you say to Bob about who needs this new vaccine?
Right, so the new vaccine is going to be available for everybody, essentially, age 6 months and up. And so it's going to be very broadly available, and the recommendation is to get it because it appears to be very safe, and we expect it to be effective at reducing the risk of getting sick this fall from COVID. I think the groups where it's particularly important and are really pulled out for all the public health groups are people who are at high risk of severe disease. And so people who are immunocompromised, people who are older, that's a very big risk group, and we've been seeing increasing severe cases in older people, people with multiple medical conditions, because those are the individuals who are still ending up in hospital, even now. So the risk is much, much less than it was, but it's still there. People who meet that profile should really prioritize getting a vaccine when it's available. For everyone else, it's kind of like the flu shot, where it's a recommendation and your personal circumstances and beliefs play into the decision, but that everyone should feel comfortable and encouraged to get it.
So what happens if you had the bivalent, you had the first one, the second one, the third one? Does any of that help protect you now? Because for those folks, it might have been 6, 8, 9 months since they've had a shot, and yet they'd had many of them. Is there anything left to protect them?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to describe, but what happens is the protection against severe disease from both, previous vaccines and from infections is actually pretty well maintained. And so there's a level of your immune system which has learned very well and is likely to protect you against severe disease, or at least reduce the risk of severe disease. The part that seems to weaken more quickly is preventing infection at all. And so that's why we're seeing people who get kind of more of a nuisance infection or a moderately severe infection, but don't progress the way that we were seeing, in the bad old days of being ill enough to require oxygen and hospitalization. And so that bank of immunity that people have built up with all of their various vaccines and maybe exposures if they survived infection, really has been very important. And that's why COVID is the way it is right now. Like, that's why we're not seeing it the way we used to. That is the reason.
Okay, so one last thought. Let's talk about this new strain of COVID. We do have another viewer. Andrew Petru says, how severe is this new strain? Is it like a cold? Is it like the flu? So what is the personality of this new beast?
The strain that's becoming more dominant now is the EG5 strain, and it's kind of taking over the lion's share of what's circulating. It is part of the entire Omicron family. So everything that we've seen since basically January of 2022 has been in the Omicron family. But, the individual substrains, if I can call them that, have been changing over time, and they get farther away from the structures that our antibodies from the vaccines recognize. And this new one, each one that becomes more dominant actually probably is a little better able to outcompete the other circulating viruses. So it has a bit of an advantage in terms of getting around immune defenses and causing infection. It does not seem to be, by itself more aggressive or more severe. But like all of the Omicron strain viruses, if you are at higher risk, like if your immune system is very low, for example, this virus is still very capable of making people very ill. And the reason that we don't see that as much is because of the vaccination campaigns.
All right, Dr. Saxinger, thank you for coming in. We always appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's nice to be here in person.
Coming up, a young bull falls into a sinkhole in the English countryside.
The only way to do it was to attach some straps to its legs.
The rescue you need to see to believe. That's next in our moment. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. Yes, that really is a bull being pulled from a sinkhole in County Durham, England. So it's unclear what caused the sinkhole, but it was apparently large enough to swallow the animal whole, and it took a team effort to get him out okay. The bizarre rescue is our moment.
To be fair, we couldn't believe what had happened. A local farmer got in touch with us asking for help. They had a bullock stuck down a hole, and I wasn't sure quite what to expect. The hole in the top was quite small where it had fallen through, but it was just like a big open area that it had gone down to. We don't know what had happened. The hole wasn't there before. It must have dropped through the night when the bullock had stood on it. The concern was to get the bull out, obviously, first. I thought, I should take a video of this because nobody would ever believe what we're gonna do. I don't know, I've never done anything like this. But it's cool, it's funny, it's great for people to see. When we pulled it out, it was quite calm, it was happy, it was all right. I think it was just pleased for us to be there and helping it out. And obviously once we had got it out, it was like a big sigh of relief and really, really exciting that we managed to save it and it got out as easily and healthily as what we did with it. Been checked over and he's really fit and healthy, absolutely fine. You wouldn't know anything had happened with him. Settled back in fine.
And that's how you pull it out.
My favorite part is that last bit at the end when all the others come up to him as if to say, are you okay? How did you get your head stuck in that hole? He, of course, is never going to tell us. For all of us here at the National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.